Good evening, folks, and welcome to Owlet. My name is Miraculous, and I'm going to be your play-by-play caster for this game in our Season 4, Stage 2 matchup of Hyperion versus Phoenix. I am joined by my color caster, User Intel. User, how are you feeling tonight?
Well, I'm feeling very good. I have a lot of expectations coming out of this match. We have Hyperion versus Phoenix, which can kind of be a hit or miss depending on how you look at it, though I see Phoenix having a lot of good opportunities.
I do too. I'm very excited to see what Phoenix is going to come out with tonight. Hyperion has been performing pretty consistently throughout stage 1. We've seen them, just they perform pretty much at the same level, but Phoenix has been consistently rising. And whereas Phoenix and Hyperion were actually each other's first matchup, and Hyperion won with a dominating 3-0, I'm excited to see if this is Phoenix's shot at redemption, if they can kind of drive it home and not only tell Hyperion but the rest of Owlet, hey, we're not the team that got 0-4 in stage 1. We're better now, and I'm excited to see whether or not they're going to be doing it. This is their proving ground.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Phoenix have a lot to kind of show up. I rated them low in the Nest podcast just because, in week 1, this team very much struggled, and we're going to be starting out on Busan. So I'm hoping that it's just not like a control myth, and that when they pop out, this team has formed their coordination and are ready to make some destruction and win the game.
I agree. I think that I'm going to be... Either way, I think this will be a good match, and I think that these teams, we've all had a long break over this in-between while All-Stars was going on, and I think both teams have the potential to have improved greatly, and I think that we're going to see, I hope to see, a close match. Do you have a favorite tonight? I assume Hyperion is, but how strong of a favorite do you have for them?
I would have to say my favorite are Phoenix. I am
Really?
rocking. Oh, yes, I am rocking with the storyline. I've been interested in this team after watching their first game. They definitely have a lot of talent, but they haven't made it so far. Specifically, I think Nat is very much a hidden talent of a player. She is consistently very good when it comes to playing the hit scan. Same with SCP. He's been doing an amazing job. Vic as well. I love pretty much most of them. I haven't really talked to anyone on the Phoenix, but I do really like them. Hyperion, though, they're a very strong team, so I have to give them that credit.
I agree. I think everybody loves an underdog. I don't know if I have a favorite per se, but I think my personal opinion is I think these teams are going to be very balanced. Especially if they've been keeping up, they haven't been slacking during the All-Stars period. I think that this could be a very close game. And I think Phoenix has potentially just that little bit of mental motivation that might be able to push them over the top. Whereas, Hyperion is more got this defending mentality that can be a little bit harder to run off of sometimes.
I can definitely agree when looking at the compositions, both of these teams wanting to run some form of dive, more specifically the red team wanting to run out with that double bubble. It's how you use it rather than the way you play it.
I agree. We see a little bit of an early peak fight here. Brash trying to find just a little bit of point control to keep them off the point. We see Stuff and Things trying to look for a stage. He's just poking Max a little bit, just trying to push him off. Max forced to retreat, and they just... It seems like they were a little split up, and they sort of just handed over point control to Hyperion, and now they're forced into this defending position, which is a little strange because Phoenix had point control at the beginning. They sort of just repositioned to give it up. So that is going to be an early point capture and an early pick. Well, I guess not early. It took a while, but Dark Ember does go down at the hands of the Bees. That's going to be rough for the sides of Phoenix, or for Hyperion, sorry. They're going to have to struggle here. Max Gusto down on the side of Phoenix. That's going to make it a little bit tougher. Brash goes down. Nat does find Stuff and Things. Is he going to be able... He does D-mech Lexi. Lexi now just going straight down, not going to be able to do anything, and that is going to force... Oh, well, yes, despite Dark Ember being able to find the Beast and Nat, are they going to be able to take him down is the question. They have both DPS on the point still. Hyperion still trying to fight this out. They are stalling for their lives here, but it is working. And they've gained almost 50% so far. Are they going to be able to touch? Yes, they are. Oh, no, they're not. And that is going to actually transfer point back over to Phoenix, and now Phoenix has this advantage, or this point control, but they did give up 50% of that fight. Dark Ember finding cleanup kills. This is a long fight going on here. Rash trying to find something, trying to find that value, trying to build that pulse bomb back up. No ults really coming out, which is very surprising, and Luzuru cleans up Vrash, and that's going to finally put an end to that fight after going 50, and Hyperion retaking point control.
Yeah, the issue that came for Phoenix was the fact that they had no lack of commitment winning off that fight from Nat's High Noon, but as it continued on, they staggered, they didn't have the consistency to continue.
Big EMP coming out from Oakley, it finds a lot, and Dark Ember ready to capitalize. He was just a little bit late. I was worried that they weren't going to be able to find anything with it, despite Primal coming out. That's a bit of a waste, honestly. They should have just taken the L there. Hyperion had to invest 2 ultimates into that fight, and it was a beautiful fight. And now, Phoenix is down a great stall ult, and we're coming up on 90% for the side of Hyperion onto the point.
Unfortunately, Phoenix just aren't playing as fast compared to Hyperion. Both messy teams, but they need to be playing more decisive.
Exactly. It seems like both teams are really waiting for the other to make a move, but Hyperion is the one that finally makes the first decision. Nat looking for Dark Ember, trying to find it. That's a big bomb coming down from Lexi. It cleans up, saves his Reaper. Vrash finding a massive pulse bomb, but he finds himself in it. That is unfortunate for the side. Both DPS down for the side of Phoenix. We see the Primal Rage come out from the side of Stuff and Things. He's just trying to clear some space. He's just trying to get the beast. He's going to have to just try and stall now. It is overtime, however, and point control is about to go. Yes, it does go to the side of Phoenix. Now Stuff and Things is in deep and just has to die. That is amazing that Vrash was able to find those 2 crucial picks, and even though he took himself out of the fight, that is a trade any Tracer is willing to make.
Yeah, that was an accidental pulse bomb too. He had stuck the floor, but the Graviton Surge had pulled 2 people in, manages to get them. Unfortunately, Vrash is just kind of stuck in that situation. And now we're in a last fight scenario where Oakley's coming up on that EMP, and that's the team winning condition.
Big early pick by Stuff and Things. Nat trying to even the odds by popping the High Noon. We do see Lizuru pop the beat. Not going to be able to do anything. Equalizes out that High Noon. Ooh, Stuff and Things goes in a little bit too deep, and that's a lot of CC there for that boy. Dark Ember kind of caught in this corner. Not able to move. I don't know if he knew he was being caught on the lamp there, but Nat was able to just blind up. He left the game. He might have DC'd. That's unfortunate. We do see Lexi now starting to trying to hold this point. It's just Lizuru and Lexi with Oakley on the side, just trying to build up maybe another EMP in the meantime. That is an unfortunate disconnect from the side of Dark Ember.
Yeah, honestly, they had it going for them, but the main issue was after that EMP, we didn't see any form of cleanup. They are taking these fights so slow, and when you're giving Nat the ability to just sit around and then shoot people, it makes a big issue. We lost Stuff very early in that fight, and now coming back in a 72%, they're going with a Coalescence. So that's pretty much their entire win condition.
No, I mean, Reaper builds ult fast, but I don't know if he's going to be able to build it that fast unless Max just makes some very poor positioning decisions. I think that this is going to be very interesting. And, Kree, he excels at that neutral game. And Hyperion have found themselves a force in that neutral game. Kree is not as reliant on that High Noon. It's very situational at times. At times, it's not as bad as far as press Q to ult, or press Q to die, but it sometimes feels like that. It's not as easy to get value on. So Kree's just neutral game is so strong. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to play when they don't or for Hyperion to play into that when they don't have these ultimates. Even though Phoenix doesn't exactly have, they have Nano and they might have Grab soon, but they don't have any combos ready. Whereas Hyperion can't come in off of this Cole. It's going to be hard playing into that Kree, who's just going to just clean up in that neutral game.
I definitely agree. My big hope here is that that Phoenix understand their win condition and know that they pretty much have the advantage. The issue with going in against Shadow Dive is just that you can't give them time to set up and plan. They have that Sombra that's going to hack you. You have Nat, you have a Tracer, you have double bubble. You just dive in, bubble your team, and you look for those picks, especially you look to demech that Diva.
We see the spy checking happening, looking for Oakley, trying to find him. Rash trying to just clean it up. Oakley hanging around, trying to get in. He's just hanging around, waiting for that one crucial hack. We see Hyperion or Phoenix. No, sorry, Hyperion come in through the side trying to do that. Pops that ult. And Nano does come out onto the side of Nat. They gave them enough charge to finish off that Nano. Ooh, that is a pulse bomb that's not going to find anything, unfortunately. Phoenix Penguin, however, does find Nat. Lizaroo finding Max. This is evening the fight. Dark Emperor finds Brash in the Tracer duel. That's huge. CSP goes down. It's now both supports and neither are able to touch. That is unfortunate, but that was excellent. Excellent play off of that Coalescence by the side of Hyperion.
Yeah, unfortunately, Phoenix just did not play the way that they seem to have wanted to. They nano Nat, but then they immediately start to split up. Nat gets focused down, and eventually they start getting picked off. And that's the big issue. They have to play as a team, and they have to play determined. They had that Graviton Surge very late inside the fight, and it probably would have been a big investment, but everyone was gone by then.
That Nano Kree, that can be a risky decision. Kree does a lot of damage. I believe he can 2-tap with the Nano, most 200 HP heroes. And it's very powerful when he can land those shots. But when he's under all that pressure, you only have 225 HP. You have to be careful. We do see we switches over to the Rhine now. Rhine Diva from the side of Phoenix and Rhine Zarya from the side of Hyperion. Beast does take up Phoenix Penguin's Immortality field, but it's not going to be enough because Stuff and Things finds Vic. That's unfortunate. Both MO fields down now. We're seeing the trading neutral game. Dark Emperor looking for a pick on the stream because this is one of his signature heroes. He's very good at it, but Stuff and Things is able to take out the Reinhardt in the middle ground. Nat goes down, or takes down Dark Ember, but then goes down at the hands of Lexi. We see the tank line coming out from Hyperion, cleaning up. Even they don't need their DPS. The DPS just provide the opportunities for the tanks to swing. And that is going to be a very clean first fight and point take for Hyperion.
Doomfist on Mecha Base is by far my favorite DP, as the small corridors allows him to just run in and have a lot of escape ability, so when you're going up against him, you need to be focusing the rest of the team or shutting him down.
Ooh, Shatter comes out. Dark Ember trying to go in. Finding value. Does find Max. That's big. We see the Immortality field come out from the side of the Beast. It's not going to be enough, though. It does go down at the hand of Lexi. Lexi now full charge and in their face, pushing Phoenix back. And that is going to take out Brash. Nice shot by the hands of Phoenix Penguin. And that is going to be another clean fight win. Was that even? That was just Shatter coming out from the side.
Yeah.
From Stuff and Things.
Phoenix are playing so indecisive still. They need to start committing abilities, or at least playing forward. They back up midway.
We see the window come out, and that's another decisive ult usage by the hands of Hyperion. They know what they want to do, and Phoenix is forcing these fights up here. They're just trying to take this fight up here. They can go other ways. You don't have to always go on high ground, guys. I know it's tempting because you want to take that Kree off, but sometimes you just take low ground and force point, and that can work, especially when you have the Diva to help you. We see the Immortality field come out from the side of the Beast. Not quite sure what that's going to accomplish much. Nat does look for the high noon. They take down that Immortality field. Not going to be able to find anything. We do see Brash's Blizzard comes out. That's 3 ults from the side of Phoenix. That's going to take them the point, but at a significant cost. Dark Ember trying to come on, trying to find anything, but there's an Immortality field on the point. Sorry, Doomfist. Can't kill through that. And that's going to take point at a very high cost at 90% to Hyperion.
Yeah, Oakley dies very early on, was in a bad position, and decided to walk in front of the enemy's team. But more importantly, we have to notice that it took around 3 ultimates for them to break through that choke. They used the window at the choke, and then eventually the high noon and blizzard.
Both DPS ults coming out from the side of Hyperion. Massive Oakley finding 2 with the high noon. The grab to clean it up. Just takes out Brash. That's unfortunate. CSPVP trying to stall point, but this is about to switch back over to the side of Hyperion, and Phoenix has to, I don't know, this is gonna, we see the solo Shatter come out from Max. He's just trying to touch point, but he can't. Brash does punch onto point at the last second alongside Vic, but I mean, this is a lost fight. Nat does find Phoenix Penguin when Vic goes down to Stuff and Thing. We see the ult come out from CSPVP, but it doesn't find anything. It's just cleanup for this point for Hyperion, and that is going to take them Busan and bring them to a 1-0. I am worried for the side of Phoenix.
I am absolutely worried. This isn't looking like any change. If not, the team is looking a bit worse. We saw them go up against, but we saw them struggle to take those fights I will give Hyperion, the credit. They had 5 ultimates. They can just hit Q and win off those fights. However, it's not that I'm worried about. It's the fact that they allowed the enemy team to build up to 5 ults, allowed Hyperion to just sit there and say, you know what, we're gonna hold our abilities because you're not forcing us or making us feel pressured enough to use them.
I agree. They are letting Hyperion take all the tempo. And I'll say with this right now, this is telltale signs of a team psyching themselves out. They know that this is the team that they went up against first, and that potentially this is like weighing on them. We need to make a good impression. These guys did beat us. We want to beat them. We got 3-0'd by these guys, and they put up more of a fight, at least from a point standing in all their other games. So this is, there's a lot going on this match for Phoenix, and they're just letting Hyperion dictate the tempo completely, and that's when they're really taking this, sort of this advantage, because Phoenix is saying, "Hey guys, we need to ult, like we need to control tempo," and they say, "Okay," and everybody ults, and then they have nothing for the next fight. Phoenix has to be more aggressive and decisive against Hyperion. Otherwise, Hyperion is going to just walk on them with their naturally strong ult tempo.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We are going to move on to Rialto. And the thing about Rialto that I always find is that this is another really fast momentum type of map. The team that dictates it, you will be able to control, especially getting past that first initial choke. There's a lot of coordination needed. And I don't really see Phoenix kind of doing that. I really want to see just their main tank take charge. Nat wants to start making value, but the tanks aren't pushing in or are just so unconfident that they're unavailable.
I agree totally. We've seen a lot of hesitation from the sides of Max and CS, and I would really like to see them just be a little bit more aggressive and give their DPS the space. Now this is a map with like you said, this is a very tempo-based map, but this is a map with a ton of flanks. This map is all over the place. There's a ton of different options and routes for people to take. So the DPS have a little bit more natural room to pop off here. We see a lot of snipers on this map. We see the Doomfist sometimes. We see more traditional picks like the Reaper, like the Kree. So I'm personally excited. I think this is going to be the make or break map for Phoenix. If they can take this map, or at least put up a good fight on it, then I think that they have, potentially still have a horse in this race. But if they just can't get past this first point and they just get slaughtered by Hyperion, it's not looking good.
It is 100% not. We are going to be seeing Optic in for Lexi, King in for Dark Ember. So that is going to be kind of some interesting switches. Phoenix is sticking with their main roster. That means Hyperion is wanting to run a different strategy. We've seen them run the Brawl. Maybe they might want to run a bit more Dive, which I feel might fit them a lot more consistently. They want to be playing these faster tempos, and the fact that they're just not really committing most ults. They can just have a monkey jump in, get primal, jump out, and pretty much trade it in.
Yeah. I think the King is because King is traditionally he's put a lot of McCree, and he's a McCree, Pharah, Hanzo player. So I think that this is going to be interesting. We might see that Pharah come out potentially for that early point control with Pharah, just being able to hide around those rooftops and just fire free shots on it's just free. So I think that might be what they're trying to do here. Just trying to potentially find a little bit more easy value there, and especially if Nat doesn't have any room. If Stuff and Things is playing aggressive and is keeping on Phoenix, and Nat doesn't have the room to take out that Pharah, that's oppressive. And there's nothing you can do about it.
100%. I'm really expecting Phoenix to try to run maybe something kind of bunkerish. I feel like if they try to run a double shield on this point, we could really see them start to glow. Double shield is very much a slower composition. The poke allows you to set the momentum and force the enemy team to really play very uncomfortably. So if we could imagine them just sitting there, I feel like they could do as much as they want. You put Nat on the Ashe with a Mercy or Zenyatta, and then you just start mowing down the enemy team. A lot of flexibility there.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite things as a hit scan is just going on a sniper, and especially on an offense, you just go out that little side path, and all the supports like to move and just real clean horizontal lines for you to just track their heads. So I think that we could see some real pop-off moments here. I'm hoping to, from both teams. But I mean, last round that was just a solid team diff throughout that map. So I really want to see Phoenix give their DPS the space to clean up because Hyperion's tanks are so darn oppressive. They have so much room, and they know that they have the room to just walk onto Phoenix. Phoenix, you gotta stand up to him. You gotta put your foot down and push back. And I think you'll find more room than you might be expecting.
Oh, I definitely see kind of that perspective and all that. It may, in the end, kind of just be a mentals game. Both of these, obviously, Phoenix, they probably don't feel too high about themselves, and I wonder how, kind of, if they're beating themselves up or if they're just having fun.
hmm I wanna see Phoenix. I don't know the voices of Phoenix myself too much, but I hope that they have somebody there still trying to cheer him up and say like, hey, we're still in this. We can still fight this because it's not over, and it's definitely not over until it's over. But too many teams can take that first match or that first map and get a loss, and it can ruin them for the rest of the series. So I really hope that Phoenix is able to keep putting up a fight because I have high expectations for them and they've been performing well. I don't want to see them go back to square one. We do see double sniper come out from the side of Hyperion. Love to see it. The Hanzo Widowmaker, which is lovely. We do see Echo Ash from the side of Phoenix. So I think maybe they were trying to think about maybe they're going to run that far. They have the Ash ahead of time, but it's just an easy composition for her to find value in. Anyway, double shield out from the side of Hyperion is going to make it rough, though.
Yeah, it's seeming like they don't really want to play too aggressive, which is kind of what you're hoping for, especially with this, but the double sniper allows them to have full control of the sites. On the bright side, this double bubble is pretty much a decent counter to it. They're going to be able to shut them down and play the way that they want to.
Echo forcing out. Oof. Echo forces Hyperion Oakley out of position. The King does, however, find Nat and Brash. Those Hanzo redwood logs he's shooting. That's unfortunate. Nat goes down. Now they don't have that Echo. They don't have the pressure on the snipers that they need, and it's gonna be a lot harder for the double bubble to take the space that they need. You don't have a lot of the poke that you need to when you're down that Echo. That Echo is so much damage. So we see a little bit of a neutral game come out. Both teams sort of stalling. Oakley trying to duel Nat in the sniper duel. He's looking like he's going to find the shot, but not quite taking it. We do see King, however, performing out of his mind. He takes out Max, and that is a massive disadvantage. Takes down Nat, too. Has every final blow so far been at the hands of the King?
Oh, pretty much. The King, remember, half of, like, the entirety of Phoenix are basically the hitboxes of trucks. Max is frontlining against the enemy team, which is not how traditionally you play double bubble, and it's pretty much just giving the King the freedom and space to just shoot whoever he wants.
And now he is the first one to ultimate ability, beating both of his supports, which can be surprising with a Baptiste, especially against Poke. And hit both of his tanks too, so that is good. But he is making excellent usage of these sonic arrows. And what I'm noticing here is Max is just not, his team is not helping him with his engages. He's diving in too deep. He's taking too much damage and isn't able to get out or get peel before he's melted. And King finding an excellent pick onto Nat there too is just going to clean up that fight a little bit more. Oakley does find CSPPV2 to finally take a final blow away from the King, but Phoenix they're looking scattered.
Yeah, the part that makes me upset is just not the fact that they're playing scattered, but the fact that they're playing so distant from not only themselves, but from the enemy team. We can just look at how Max and the rest of his team is positioned. They're looking for angles, and they're sitting there frontlining the enemy team. And then immediately with those sights, we see the King use the dragons just to start making angles. They're investing ultimates, and they're setting up, while we see Phoenix just barely preparing.
That's not what you want to do versus double shield. Double shield is about poke. Double Shield wants to keep you at a distance and melt you down. Nat does find the king. That's going to be a lot of damage down for the side of Hyperion while they wait. They're looking real low. Lizaru does ult with the beat to sustain, and that's going to be all that they need to clean up the rest of that fight. I don't know what Phoenix is doing with this double bubble. They're not playing it correctly. They need to close this space. I'd rather see Brawl here just to run into the enemy, because this is not coordinated enough to achieve the value you need at the sacrifice of your tanks.
I 100% agree. You run that Brawl, it basically fits to how they want to play. Nat isn't even able to mirror on the Widow. She has less sightline when compared to Oakley.
A defense already has such a nice sniper's advantage, but Brash isn't exactly finding any opportunities either. He should be going in, disrupting these snipers, and yet he's been dead pretty consistently at their hands, because so often CS PvP is forced using his bubbles on Max when he dies early. And it's just going to be easy point control, because the resources for Hyperion or for Phoenix, I mean, are so scattered. They are investing into too many things at once and playing too many different angles and not knowing decisively what they want to do, that Hyperion is just swatting flies.
Would have to agree. Brawl, I think, would fit the way that they want to play, or at least some form of bunker. More often than not, I haven't been counting it, but I've been paying close attention to how Max engages into these fights. Max will engage, drop bubble, and then receive the Zarya bubble, which I think we both can agree that's not really the fundamental way you want to play.
Not the right order of how you do that.
I feel like as well as Rash, I don't know if you've noticed, but he has died more often than not to an enemy Widow as a Doomfist. Chips, I can already hear him screaming in the background just how bad Widow is. But the issue that comes with it is that they're giving Hyperion so much space, they're giving them these high grounds and angles, and then the monkey is playing low ground, as if it's Shadow Dive.
I would say another thing too is Vrash is not engaging from the best positions to be diving on the Widows. I don't know if he doesn't have the scouting that he needs, like he doesn't know where the Widow is, and he's just trying to take that fight fast and he's rushing himself. But you can flank these Widows and Hanzos from safe positions where they don't have all this open space of the plaza to shoot at you. So I don't know if Hyperion or if Phoenix is being forced into making rushing mistakes, but they have to take a deep breath and think about this before they try and force something. We do see the double shield come out from the side of Hyperion again, just trying to bunker down in that point, find the value. The Ryan Diva brawl on the defense, which is a little bit interesting. We're going to try and just force that fight. They have to come into us. I understand that. Max does take that fight, but wow, Phoenix is looking a lot lower. I don't know if they have... How are they taking so much damage? This is ridiculous. Nobody on Hyperion even looking like they're breaking a sweat. Stuff and things, popping the Earth Shatter early is going to find two with it. That is all that they're going to need. Vic trying to duel Oakley, but not going to be able to find anything CS PvP, and that's going to be a very quick offense.
You ask how they take a lot of damage, and the answer is no one was behind the shield. The Sigma was playing at an angle, and they half of the team was split up away from the main tank and just were not behind the shield. And even when the shield was down, they were still being shot, so they would take all that poke damage. Sigma does so much more than we think, and then obviously the shatter hits. It wasn't even aiming for the main tank because someone just wasn't in the position of the shield, and that's where Phoenix leave into the 0-0. And right now they're struggling. We're already at match point.
I gotta say, I gotta buckle down on my earlier claim. This looks like nerves, totally through and through. At this point, it's not like they're being outplayed per se. It's not like they're running their comp and the other comp is just better. They're not playing their comps correctly. They're forgetting fundamentals. They're traveling. They're not dribbling. And I think that they might just be a little bit panicked now and overthinking this and nervous, and I think it's causing them to make a lot of mistakes. And I think, Phoenix, I need you guys just take a deep breath. Okay, like you can do this, but you can't rush it, and you got to remember what you're doing. You can't let Hyperion make them, or you can't let Hyperion make you play their game. If you just play your own game instead of trying to force yourself to play the enemy, I think that they'll find value. But Phoenix is just so disoriented. They look woozy, and I just really I need them to. They need to take a deep breath if they are going to find their footing.
Yeah. And I don't know how much the viewers understand who picks the map, but the way maps work is often by the loser. Phoenix had just picked the. Oh wait, are we gonna go to halftime? Either way, I'm not. Yeah, either. Never mind. We're gonna keep going. I'm a bit worried because the next map is most likely going to be King's Row. That is such a zoom fast map. I don't see Phoenix adapting well against it, especially in those narrow corridors.
Especially since Phoenix has yet to really find their footing, and Hyperion has all the momentum in the world right now, and Phoenix has yet to dig their heels into the dirt and put a stop to that. And I think that unless Phoenix finally finds that grounds, like they're gonna get mowed over here, and I would love to see it. There's plenty of opportunity for Phoenix to catch that ground, and on streets, even on first, can be that opportunity. But I think that they gotta find it or it's over. This is match point.
Oh, I am shaking in my boots. I'm hoping to see how they end up working. We're already getting the R from Phoenix. I wonder if they will this time try to run some type of bunker, or if they just go out into pure brawl. They have the room to just immediately start kind of running in and shooting up the place, but I don't see that working out just because they don't have the focus.
We are getting a sub on the side of Hyperion. Emmy is coming in for Optic. Emmy was a late pickup for Hyperion coming in towards the end, and Hyperion is just looking like they're not switching to adapt. They're switching just to play their own game. They look like they're in scrims right now. They're just trying out things because that's their plan. And Phoenix, however, is playing so reactively that this is it's looking dangerous. And I think we can see that even in the comp switches.
See what you mean? Hopefully Phoenix maybe tries to throw things out, especially because Emmy is in for Optic. Once again, that's another switch. I'm feeling like Hyperion are putting in the players that we haven't seen very often just to see what they can do.
Totally agree. And I think that this is going to be an opportunity for Hyperion is basically turning this into an exhibition match for themselves. They're saying, "Hey, look how strong we are. Look how we've been practicing. Look at us flex our muscles and our new players." And it's almost disrespectful. I want to see Phoenix turn this around. We could see the reverse sweep. It could happen. But it's gotta happen now. This is the last chance.
Do you believe? Well, there's a lot of things I believe in. I believe in unicorns. I believe in leprechauns. They're just Scottish people. But I don't know how much I can believe in Phoenix. No, I don't believe in miracles.
Oof. I think this is gonna be. I think it'll take one. But I gotta say, I'm never one to count the underdog out until it's over. I love a good comeback, and I've lost too many channel points gambling to say that one way or the other to have too much faith in universal loss. So I think it's still possible. I think it's very unlikely, but I think it's still possible.
Oh, 100%. We're seeing Rash back onto the Doomfist. I don't really see that working out very well. On King's Row, it's obviously a traditionally brawl. From what we're seeing on Hyperion is the standard Quell, maybe a Zarya instead of a Diva. But either way, that Doomfist is not going to have the room to play where they want. They have to play split, and that Mei is going to be looking to shut them down.
Playing into a Mei Cree, I do not envy Rash. If this was a comp game, I would call this free SR for Oakley. So Hyperion is giving them a lot of space to rotate in. Very clean-looking rotation from the side of Phoenix, just trying to look in. Punch bot Brash does pop out the bubble, not going to be able to find too much with it. Brash still trying to look for something. Wall does come out from the side of King. He freezes Max. Max gets very low. The Immortality Field saves his life, and the other one comes out from the side of Felix. Nat does find stuff and things. That is a Reinhardt down, a McCree down at the hands of the other McCree. That's big pick. Huge picks for offense. These are great picks, and I don't know if Hyperion may have just lost their footing here, or if that's all it takes on defense for first point. But these are very clean pickups, and now it is just clean up for the side of Phoenix. They're going to take point on first fight.
It was very clean. They got the space. The Doomfist managed to just uppercut them, and it almost looked like Hyperion just weren't paying enough attention because Nat's just able to take that off angle for a tiny bit and start clicking heads.
Totally agree. Once Nat got the space he needed, well, we see a little bit of an overextension by the Hive. It looks like Hyperion is like, hey, don't get ahead of yourselves. All right, we gave you a point because we weren't paying attention. And we let you rotate for free, but we're gonna make you pay for it now. And they push them into spawn. It does force them out. Emmy is still there, looking for just some poke damage. It's kind of weird positioning for him to be honest. He's just sort of beating damage. We do see the High Noon come out from the side of Nat, trying to find value. Emmy does block it with his their defense matrix. We see dueling shatters come up from Max and Stuff and Things, but Stuff and Things is going to be the victor. He just has a little bit more support from the side of Lizaru. Lizaru finding their beat, but holding on to it for the next fight. This is a bunch of ults on both sides now.
What I would have to say is that we are now in a somewhat mirror of what happened on Rialto. This choke, even if Emmy doesn't have their mech, they're just gonna wait to get it back. That Blizzard's basically a team fight winning ability, so it's up to CSP to use their and Phoenix to use their abilities to kind of move them around or deny them. They don't have a diva to shut it down.
This is a nightmare choke to play into against Grab and against Blizzard, and they have both. CSPPB has Blizzard, or Grab, I mean. Brash does find Oakley only after Felix Penguin finds the Beast. This fight is getting long and drawn out. Stuff and Things does go down, but so does Max, and now both teams are... Whereas it looked even for a second, Hyperion is just winning this sort of 1v1 style that's going on. They're turning it into a 2v1 too often, and I think that is just me. They're down their tanks, but this is going to let them maintain this ground, having to back up a little bit.
Yeah, the issue that came into that fight was solely from the fact that the King had the Blizzard. Blizzard is such a strong ability, and I don't think people really estimate it because it slows down the fight. It forces the enemy team not to be able to push in, and they had the Graviton Surge, they use the Sound Barrier, then they get stuck, they're not able to pull in, and then eventually they use the High Noon, start slowly going in.
We see a nice rotation from the side of Phoenix coming all the way around. Brash fighting Oakley in the confusion. He does go down to Stuff and Things, and Emmy pops their bomb, but not going to really find anything. Emmy does go down, Stuff and Things finds Nap, but then goes down himself. And now it is going to be just Felix Penguin and the King trying to keep this point, but nobody's on cart. This is a lot of space that's being taken with no cart control.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's another example of just Phoenix's kind of, I would say fluctuating attention span. Hyperion is not able to win that off because they didn't have abilities and they just kind of get overwhelmed. It seemed they weren't ready for that rotation, but the time wasted on that and how far they have to move the payload, it's almost as if they just started moving this and this is just they captured the point. Hyperion's going to be able to walk in the moment it starts reaching the choke, and they're in the same scenario.
This is the same beautiful fight that they want, and we see that the Blizzard come out. CSPPV does get frozen. Vic doesn't, however, but it doesn't matter because Oakley, Emmy, and Stuff and Things are able to find 3 picks, 1 each, and just wipe them out. And so even though the Blizzard wasn't able to do anything, it did zoning Blizzard did force them into a situation where they were very uncomfortable and allowed the support of Hyperion to just walk over their isolation.
My goodness. Blizzard in itself is just one of the strongest abilities. And going into this next fight, we are seeing Rash switch over to the Reaper. I love this. This is going to help them play a lot faster, help them confirm more kills. This is the opportunity they've been waiting for. And they are rotating on the high ground, which I'm not always happy about.
A very strange rotation, to be honest. We see the ult come out from CS2PP. I don't know if he misses or not. It doesn't find anything. We do see the wall come out. I don't know if that blocked it or not. I didn't really look at it. What did he just miss? We do see stuff and things pop. We see a lot of ults come out from Hyperion. That is nasty. High noon, the Blizzard, or not the Blizzard, the self-destruct and the Earth Shatter after the beat. That was a lot of ults to pop all at once. And this fight's not over. They are basically banking on this Amplification Matrix and Blizzard to win them this next fight. Whereas Max has Shatter, and High Noon and Amplification Matrix of their own.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. CSP threw up, grab, hits the wall. They're too far away.
Nat trying to High Noon through the Amplification Matrix isn't able to find anything, however, because of that wonderful ability, Immortality Field. Totally balanced, totally fair ability, and that is just going to let them control the tempo with that Blizzard of King. They're not able to find, or Phoenix is not able to find the picks that they need with the investment that they put in, and that's gonna stop Phoenix in their tracks, short of .2.
I definitely saw Phoenix winning one of those fights, but the issue is that they threw grab. They Hail Married it.
I don't know what that
across
was.
the map from high ground. It gets blocked by wall, only hits the Reinhardt. And then they just sit there, walk slowly, little cha-cha.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best word to describe what's happening. Nothing happens. On the bright side, we're seeing the DPS, Nat and Rash, looking to do their best to make things happen, but there's only so much you can do as an individual player. This is a team game.
I don't want Phoenix to think that we are trying to trash talk them or talk down on them or anything. I really want to see this showing of strength from Phoenix. The team that we have watched consistently get stronger in their last few matches, but this is looking like beginning of stage 1 Phoenix again. I don't know what it is that's happening right now that's sort of causing them to stutter, but you know, I think that there's probably something going on inside of Phoenix that is causing this issue, not just a team diff.
I would have to say so. Either way, going up against this composition, like what Phoenix are running, and I'm not scared of the King running out on that far. I feel like he's gonna have more trouble dealing with Nat, because we have to pay attention. She's just hitting her shots no matter how interesting the team is playing. And now they're backing up. They're split from the Reinhardt.
Nat does have naturally a lot of space on this defense. Oakley does try and take away some of it, but is forced out. You have that Mei just for that queen pressure, easy to do. King does take a little bit more of an aggressive angle now, and Phoenix is making the very deadly mistake of splitting up versus Afara, and that's all it took. Nat went on a flank trying to find value on the supports, and that was all it takes. The Afara no longer had any pressure aside from perhaps from the Mei and a little bit from the Beast, and they were able to just bully the core of Phoenix and take the point.
Honestly, was a little bit worried. The payload's still in a very good spot. Nat even switches over to the Widow. Don't know how much I like it on attack with such close corridors, especially in their position. They're basically a free spot open, and they're looking to duel 2 people at once, and that's not correct.
Yeah, I don't love the Widow pick. I understand the mentality behind it, trying to counter Oakley's Widow, provide pressure, but, you know, my problem here is that Oakley hasn't, like, no offense versus him, but he hasn't exactly been, like, popping off this game. He's been providing some value, but most of it has been secondary passive value, not strong primary value. So I don't think that the Widow is something that actively needs to be taken care of the way that the tank pressure does. We do see some interesting trades going on. Phoenix going in deep and finding both of the support, or the tanks, I mean. Finally showing that aggression that we need while the King was on this weird flank trying to find the DPS for the side of Phoenix, and that is actually going to cost them that point. Whereas finally Phoenix was able to show that aggression versus the tanks that they needed to.
Honestly, it looks like they're trying to, I guess, have fun. They were playing far and flanking. Look at that D.Va Bomb's gonna be on the high ground and completely miss the window to kind of get back. But they did that over-aggressive flank on purpose.
With the D-Mech down, that is going to be rough for the side of Phoenix. That CSPVP is D-Mech'd, and that's going to be unfortunate. Seven Things does go down, but Max follows him quickly, and Hyperion is able to take those kills that they needed to. When you don't have that D.Va, that is a free ticket in. They know you're down a tank. They know that even if you manage to get a remech kill off, it's not going to look good for you. And we see the the walls come out from the side of Oakley, and that is able to clean it up. And that's the game. Straight to the side of Hyperion. Wow. That is unfortunate for Phoenix.
I gotta say, it's not out of the realm of expectations, at least when it comes from this team. And I don't think this will help improve anyone's form of predictions for Phoenix. But remember where you start and look to where you will end. I still believe by the end of the season, Phoenix will be a top-tier team. I pray I will pay them to win games if I need to.
I went into this very hopeful for the side of Phoenix. I was really hoping that they would be able to show us the strength that they've been gathering, and they didn't. And I don't know where it was tonight. But I hope Phoenix can pull it back together and, keep it up and keep getting stronger, because we saw a little bit of a reversion that we saw tonight, and it's not what I hoped to see from Phoenix, but it is not over at all. It's nowhere near the end. We saw potential here, but and that was the thing, right? We saw potential from Phoenix tonight. We didn't see all that we needed to, and we didn't see really an execution or fulfillment of that potential, but we saw potential nonetheless. And I want to see them fulfill on it. I want to see them put in the work.
I definitely do too. And honestly, I just hoped in the future to see some new changes. Can't wait to see for the future of both Phoenix, but Hyperion, at least they had a fun game.
I agree. Well, that does conclude our game. However, we are going to be following up with an interview with a member of Hyperion. If you'll just take 1 minute while we set up for that interview with a short break, we'll be right back with that interview and more Owlet content. Hold your horses. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, and good evening to our post-match interview from Hyperion versus Phoenix for Owlet Season 4. We are joined with Hyperion's support, Lizaru. I am Miraculous, and I'm joined once again by my colorcaster user, Intel. Lizaru, this was an interesting game for everybody, I think, to watch, even if it wasn't entirely surprising. How are you feeling about it, first and foremost?
I think we played pretty well. We had a couple slow moments, but we picked up the pieces and ran it down.
Mhm. Everybody was thinking, at least here in the casting booth, everybody was really thinking about the storyline here between Hyperion and Phoenix, and we were thinking about, you guys played them first. It was week one, your first match, and we saw the same result, a 3-0. Would you say that they played stronger today or weaker than then? How do you feel that they compared to where they were?
I don't want to say it was weaker. If anything, it was very close to how it was last time, but I do think there was some improvement overall.
Okay, well that's good. You guys played very strongly. It was very clear to see the improvement that you guys have been doing. So that was excellent. User Intel, do you have some questions?
So my question would really be: you guys are back into the season. How is Hyperion feeling as a team?
Oh, better than ever, honestly. We had a much needed break. We finished a different tournament, so now we can focus on Owlet. We've been focusing on scrimming and getting things cleaned up from our mistakes in last tournament round, and we're doing great. We're feeling good about it.
Well, I'm glad to hear. Other than that, I really don't have any more questions because I'm expecting to have more for your next match when you guys possibly win.
Oh, that's the goal.
One last question, I think, and then we'll let you head off. Um, what do you think that what do you in Hyperion really want to work on? What do you guys feel is something that you guys could still have a lot of room to improve on? Because I think we saw a really dominant showing from you today. We didn't get a chance to see as much the other side of the coin for Hyperion. So what would you say is something that you guys are still working on?
We're still working on clearing comms and making sure everything is heard and called out. So that's been improving and going well. We've also been working on a lot of different comp styles so that we have more than just more than what's comfortable.
User, do you have any more questions?
No, I really don't. I more expect to see them next time when they win.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming out. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you, viewers, for coming out and supporting Owlet. We always appreciate when you guys come out and you watch these matches and help support the community. We love it, and it helps foster everything that we have going on. So thank you guys. If you have any closing remarks, user intel, feel free to share them. But as for me, I think that I'm just looking forward to the rest of this stage. I think it's gonna be great no matter what.
Think for ending remarks, I'd have to say if you thoroughly enjoyed what you watched, or if you didn't and you want to see some more entertaining matches, make sure you hit that little heart. You'll be able to get notifications on the Owlet Twitch channel. Join the Discord, you'll be able to compete and stay up to date. Other than that, I very much enjoyed casting.
All
Oh, yeah,
right,
and
we
there's
have.
one more
Oh,
match
go ahead.
Monday to watch. Other than that, lead us out.
Yes, we do. We have the last match of the first week coming up on Monday, and that's going to be something to watch. Of course, it's going to be streamed as usual. So we hope that you'll tune in next time for a little bit more, potentially more of a fight. But no matter what, I'm looking forward to everything that these teams are going to be able to put out. Owlet has always been known for its show off performances. So that's gonna tie it up for us here on our side. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your evening.